Within the framework of law that was of necessity instituted to create and govern these material realms, the existence of biological life would not have been possible, except were it to enter through that one moment when that law was suspended. Such is the origin of biology, the fusion of spirit and matter. The impact of this single creative moment is so vast, so far-reaching, that the shock waves sent out before it have given rise to all of the biological life that now exists upon your planet. You are living in the shadow of an event not yet taken place, yet it is you, yourself, under all your layers of false identity, that cause this event as you approach even nearer to the earth. From within the context of history, it appears that there has been on this planet a progression of increasingly complex life forms evolving toward ever higher levels of consciousness. It appears that there has been an evolutionary process, but this is not the case. What is actually occurring is that the matter of Earth is falling under the influence of your vibrational body. This influence naturally increases as you draw nearer. Only when the center of your spirit touches the center of the earth will life on this planet be fully manifest in form. This should not be so difficult to understand. What you have considered to be history, or in other terms, the evolution of the species, is only what you have been able to observe through the distorted medium of a fragmented and quite subjective intelligence, trapped within the past-future orientation of linear time. From such a perspective, the act of creation could appear as a progressive, sequential process. To the extent that you are able to identify with the spirit that gives you consciousness, however, it becomes a much simpler matter. You have yet to arrive. You are still on your way. Sitting here reading these words is only a sleepy reflection of your unconscious totality as it prepares to become fully revealed on the day of awakening. Your real life will begin when the Creator gives you His definition in form. Within the womb of history, your species has been primarily defined by the Earth Mother, who is helping to prepare the clay. She is only interested in getting the form arranged according to specification. Her only knowledge of spirit is that it brings forth her potential. When the Father Center merges with the center of the earth, the collectivity of human consciousness will awaken to a unified field identity. You will be born. After that, the influence of matter will not affect your consciousness as dominantly as it did during the historical gestation period. The earth will continue to suckle the species, so to speak, for another millennium, before you are capable of going off on your own. But even during that period, the Father's influence will be much greater than it is today. The Creator has established laws to govern the bonding of energy. Through these laws of materialization, the physical universe is created and maintained. In the material realms, these laws are right and proper. But when they come into relationship with biological life, they begin to behave strangely. From a perspective of consciousness, they translate into limitation, contraction, and ultimately death. In psychological terms, the laws of materialization have given rise to the ego, a fictitious identity with a sense of fear, vulnerability, and a need to protect and defend itself. Spiritual consciousness should not properly be associated with the forces that govern the bonding of energy. Their historical juxtaposition came about through the process referred to as the fall. During the period of species preparation, the presence of the materializing influence on levels of consciousness has been unfortunate, but not critical. However, in light of the intensifying vibrations of the creative spirit that is now nearly aligned with the center of this planet, the definitions that have been imposed by matter will no longer be tenable. The Creator Himself will dispel this planetary restraining influence and henceforth hold all life forms in appropriate expression through the new definitions of His love. This will be a profound transition for each and every form identity, a transition of a magnitude you can only begin to suspect. As a collective event, the moment of birth is still a generation away, but individually speaking, this event transcends the limits of space and time and is, in fact, already occurring. Your individual birth will take place at the precise moment in linear time when you stop struggling with your rational fear patterns and let yourself go in the divine dance of inner direction. You must decide whether you are going to accept the inevitable in a state of love and prepare yourself accordingly, or hold on in fear to the bitter end. Ultimately, these are the only two avenues of response. By the linear time this event takes place, humanity will be polarized according to these two adaptive patterns. All will be decidedly in one camp or the other. To those of the human race who have turned themselves into the will of God, the coming interval of non-time will literally expand into eternity. These individuals will be able to experience a lifetime or many lifetimes in that eternity while still retaining the option to return to their physical projections as transformed representatives of the being of life on earth. These will be our co-workers during the period of planetary awakening. Others not so finely tuned to the forces that will be released at that time will feel great surges of energy lasting for an interdeterminate period. Some few will experience an intense fear, and many will die. Everything in physical form at this time, every soul in every kingdom, will feel something incredible, something that according to all the laws of physics ever known or ever to be discovered could never happen. But there it will be before all senses, an impossible fact, like the babe in the manger, like the unmistakable feeling in your heart, an incredible vibration of truth and love, shimmering, scintillating, awakening every nerve, every capillary, every cell of your planetary body. Whether the individual form identity reading these words right now will be a surviving participant in that event depends upon what you identify with and how gracefully you are able to align yourself with God's creative definition. If you can identify with the flow of life through your essential planetary being and release all subjective definitions of who you think you are, you will play your part most joyously in the birthday celebration. God's definition of you in form is much greater than any you could possibly imagine for yourself. During this present period of individual awakening, the first of the 3 creative periods, you are being given the opportunity to embrace this true definition as the cornerstone of your existence. On the morning of creation, you will recognize the unified collective consciousness of all humankind as your own true identity. You will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are the bridge between spirit and matter, between creator and creation, between life and the forms through which life flows. If you release the definitions that matter has set upon you, this is the definition that the Creator will bestow, the definition of Christ Himself. Can you see yourself as we of the distant stars do, from the objective vantage point of the ages, with the eyes of the Star Maker Himself? To us your entire history appears as but a gesture. We see in your passage through the vibrational field of Earth a gesture that you make, a salute almost, to the energy retention systems of this particular heavenly body. This is how you express yourself on this beautiful blue and white whirling through space. We have come to remind you of who you are.